Freedom Award.
To the warmth of other suns, thank you so much.
A gift to be in the place where Dr. King's spirit ascended.
But what my parents raised me to understand is that the freedom fighters are not out there, they are in here. They are us, and the time is now, and the obligation is urgent.
This is the greatest honor I've ever received.
I'm honored, and I thank you guys tonight.
I am both honored and humbled to receive this award. I must say that it is the most significant award that I have received today.
The National Civil Rights Museum every day helps to make America a more perfect union.
There comes a time that one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politically correct, nor popular, but one must take a position because his conscience tells him it's the right thing to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Yeah, the Freedom Awards is going down. Let me come up here so I can see everybody. If you're in high school, say yay. Say, if you're in high school, say yay. Okay, if you're in middle school, say oh yeah. If you're in elementary school, say yeah. I got kind of quiet. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church, 70 North Bellevue. My name is Stan Bell, serving you well and pushing more power than a Duracell. I thought somebody would finish that for me. So welcome, everyone. We're just about ready to get started. We are excited. The 2025 Freedom Awards. This is the 34th time around, and each year just gets better and better. So let me say it like this. We're so glad that you are here, and we hope that you enjoy yourselves. All my students, make some noise one more time. Yeah. Well, I feel something in my spirit. It's the roll call. It's the roll call. I better not do that one. I better not do that. I better not do that. Mr. Hyde, how you doing? Good to see you. Right. So, let me start this way before we bring out our honorees. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, somebody shout, keep us forever in the path we pray. So again, welcome. At this time, we'd like to bring out our honorees so you can see them in all their glory. So excited. Would you please welcome the Honorable Mark H. Morial in the house. I feel like doing a roll call, bringing them out, Dory. It's the roll call. Mark H. Morial in the building. Yeah. Feel like I need to go to New Orleans right quick, huh? Next, we have the one and only Dr. Velma Lois Jones. Jones. Yeah. educator extraordinaire, of course, civil rights activist. You'll hear more about that later. It's the one and only Dr. Velma Lois Jones. Next, coming to the stage. Would you please welcome the one and only CEO, Mark Sussman. He's a man. He's a man. Mark Sussman, CEO of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's the roll call. It's the roll call. It's the roll call. It's the roll call. Hey, what's up, honorees? What you got to say? Who's at Mississippi Boulevard today? I tried it. So greetings, everyone. We are ready now to introduce your president of the National Civil Rights Museum. Would you please welcome to the front podium, Dr. Russell Wigington. In the building. Come on, y'all do better than that. The one and only Dr. Russell Wigington in the building. Yeah. All right. Do you have words, Dr. Wigington? Okay. He's allowed. We can be off script when he comes up. That's right. Come on up, Dr. Wigington. And then we will announce and introduce our MCs for this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Russell Wigington.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to be with you all here today. You know, the Student Forum is about you. The opportunity to celebrate these amazing individuals with students in this community, students who are the future of this community is what we're here for today. We couldn't be more excited than to have you all here. It's an honor and it's a joy. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy this amazing moment and morning that is about you. Thank you.
Thank you, President Wigington. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our hosts for the 2025 Student Forum, Ms. Adaria Crutcher and Kevin K.B. Bland.
Thank you. Welcome to the National Civil Rights Museum's 2025 Student Forum, presented by FedEx and Ford Philanthropy. I'm Adaria Crutcher, a freshman at Rhodes College. It's great to be back at the Student Forum, this time as a co-host and as a former Keeper of the Dream winner.
And I am Kevin Bland, a junior at Lemoyne-on College, and I serve as the 58th Mr. Lemoyne-on College. We're so glad to see everyone here. Now, this is my first time, but I guarantee you this, it will not be my last. I would like to give a big shout out to the elite Royal Court and SGA of Lemoyne-on College. We're glad to see everyone here this morning. We're glad to see everyone here this morning. Reverend Dr. J. Lawrence Turner again. And now we welcome a word from you, Reverend Dr. Turner.
Yo, everybody come get your bounce on, get your bounce on, get your bounce on.
Well, good morning. Good morning to President Wigington, to the board, to our honorees, to students and our community that are gathered in this place and who are watching us online. It's my honor, on behalf of Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church, Disciples of Christ, to welcome you back onto our campus for this student forum. 249 years ago, a writer, Thomas Paine, wrote a pamphlet entitled The American Crisis. And he began with these words: "These are the days that try men's souls." 249 years later, those words still ring true. However, there is an image from Ghana that is of the Sankofa bird, whose feet are firmly planted forward while its head is looking back. And the lesson of this symbol is that the past is a guide for the future. This is why on this day it's important for us to not only listen to the stories of our honorees as they will provide a pathway for the future. That's why the National Civil Rights Museum is so important. It serves as a guide for what's headed forward. So I hope today you would be inspired, you would be motivated, and that you would become the change that you desire in this world. Thank you, and welcome to Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church Disciples.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Turner. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome everyone. Now, it is my honor and privilege to introduce the president of the National Civil Rights Museum, Dr. Russ Wigington.
Thank you so much, Daria. Hey, everyone. It's great to see you here. We're so excited. As I mentioned before, this is about you. How many of you have attended the Student Forum before? Raise your hand. All right, all right, all right. How many of you are first-timers? Raise your hand. I'm just trying to get everybody moving, I'm sure you will find it fun and informative. This forum is your opportunity to meet some of the incredible people we are honoring for this Freedom Award this year. You may have read about, heard about, or seen interviews with these phenomenal change makers. This is a unique opportunity to hear directly from them and learn how we can create the change that we want to see in the world. Thank you so much, FedEx and Ford Philanthropy, for being the co-presenting sponsors for Student Forum this year. That deserves a hand clap. Not only have they sponsored the forum, but they have encouraged you to demonstrate your community spirit and civic spirit through the Keeper of the Dream Award, or KOD Award. And just as in this year's past, this year's Keeper of the Dream Award winners are most certainly future Freedom Award contenders. Thank you also to oh yes, clap for them. Thank you also to our Freedom Award signature sponsors, Hyde Family Foundation and Nike. We are, as we do every year at the Freedom Award, honoring ordinary people who have done or are doing extraordinary things. This year, we are honoring Mark Morial, Dr. Velma Lois Jones, and Mark Susman. In a few minutes, you'll have the opportunity to hear from each one of them. But first, I want to thank each one of you. Each year, the Freedom Award and the Student Forum have themes, specific moments, and people to which we pay tribute. Today, we will highlight monumental events that occurred 60 years ago in the year 1965. We can look back at what happened then, consider how far we've come since that time, and continue to create a more just and equitable society for all. We've got a lot of ground to cover this morning, so let's keep it moving. Join me in welcoming our presenting sponsors, FedEx and Ford Philanthropy. First, I'm pleased to introduce Gina Adams, who is the Executive Vice President, General Counsel, and Corporate Secretary for FedEx. She will be followed by Hassan Hamoud, Senior Manager of Essential Services for Ford Philanthropy. Ms. Gina.
Well, good morning, everybody. And congratulations to our honorees and to all of you. Again, I'm Gina Adams, Executive Vice President, General Counsel, and Secretary at FedEx. Thank you. On behalf of 500,000 FedEx team members around the world, it is my pleasure to welcome the hundreds of students and the wonderful recipients of the 2025 Keeper of the Dream Award. We celebrate you today as you prepare for your responsibilities in your communities and the world. By ensuring that you have access to leadership and learning, paths to meaningful careers, and a voice in your future. I suspect that my upbringing was not very different from some of yours. I too benefited from community support and mentors and learned the power of education and the value of embracing new experiences in a world that was not always welcoming. You are quickly becoming our future. So please, do not let the perceptions of others limit you. Your gender, ethnicity, and race are simply facts of life and not excuses to do anything less than your best. Understand that your character, your work ethic, and your openness to new experiences and your desire to learn will set you free. So, when you stumble, and you will at first, don't look for someone to blame. Learn from it, rise from it, and keep going. Always make the effort to learn the truth. And that's not always easy in today's world of social media, deepfakes, and AI. But you can handle it. So congratulations, young ladies and gentlemen. We applaud you. You've chosen to step up and embody the movement that offers hope for the better world we all want. No pressure, just good practice.
Good morning, everyone. What an incredible day it is to be gathered here, both in person and virtually, for the National Civil Rights Museum's Freedom Award Student Forum. This isn't just an event, it's a convergence of history, inspiration, and the boundless potential of young minds. My name is Hassan Hamoud. I am the Senior Manager of Essential Services with Ford Philanthropy, which is the philanthropic arm of the Ford Motor Company. And I'm here to tell you, I have one of the best jobs at Ford Motor Company. I get to travel around to the 8 different cities across the country where Ford has a plant and really work with local communities to help figure out how we can partner together to move people forward and upward. Today is a big part of that here in West Tennessee. Today, we stand on the shoulders of giants. We're here to learn about the remarkable lives of the Freedom Award honorees, individuals who, often against immense odds, chose purpose over complacency and courage over fear. Their stories aren't just history lessons. They are living blueprints for how one person, driven by conviction, can ignite change that echoes through generations. For our students, this forum offers a unique window into what it means to live a life of impact. It's about seeing that your dreams, your passions, your budding sense of justice are not just valid, but are vital. It's about understanding that the fight for freedom, equality, and justice is an ongoing journey, and each of you have a critical role to play in that journey. This forum is designed to spark something within you, a realization of your own power to shape the future. You are not just the inheritors of history, you are its next architects. By hearing these stories, you're not just receiving information, you're receiving a baton of responsibility, absolutely, but also, and more importantly, a baton of opportunity. The challenges of today, from social justice to environmental stewardship, from technological ethics to global peace, require fresh perspectives, bold ideas, and unwavering commitment. They require your ideas, your perspective, and your commitment. This event encourages you to find your voice, identify the causes that stir your soul, and understand that even the smallest action can contribute to a grander movement. So, as you listen, learn, and engage today, remember, you are not just observers. You are participants in the ongoing story of progress. Let the stories of these trailblazers ignite your own inner fire. Go forth, be inspired, and dare to be the next generation of changemakers. The future is waiting for your leadership. Thank you.
Now, let's go back to 1965, one of the most pivotal and transformative years in the history of American civil rights movement. It's often considered the year when the struggle for racial equality shifted from protest to policy and voting rights to broader justice.
In the year 1965, the civil rights movement surged into a national reckoning as the fight for racial equality surged from the streets of Selma, Alabama, all the way to the halls of the United States Congress. The previous year, 1964, marked a major turning point with the passage of the Civil Rights Act, which outlawed segregation and discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Despite this legal victory, widespread voter suppression and racial violence, especially in the South, made it clear that the struggle for true equality was far from over.
1965 was a pivotal moment in the nation's history as the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and the Dallas County Voters League catapulted the Selma voting rights campaign into the national spotlight. Women on the front lines of this movement put their lives on the line to secure voting rights. Mrs. Amelia Boyding had been fighting this fight since the 1930s. She believed that a voteless people is a hopeless people. While waiting in line for hours to register to vote, Mrs. Annie Lee Cooper was assaulted by Sheriff Jim Clark. She defended herself by striking back. The unwavering strength and tenacity of these women carried this movement forward in the fight to secure voting rights for generations to come.
There are many Americans who paved the way towards voting rights for all that aren't recognized by name for their bravery. The movement found new direction when Jimmy Lee Jackson was shot and killed by an Alabama state trooper in February 1965. His death provided the spark to display to the nation for the right to vote. Sunday, March 7, 1965, more than 600 gathered at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. A sea of Alabama state troopers attacked and deployed tear gas. Hundreds were injured and millions were horrified by what they witnessed on television. Dubbed Bloody Sunday, this moment served as a national wake-up call and a catalyst for change for all Americans. As tensions in Selma were reaching an all-time high, the president was called to act.
March 15th, 1965. President Lyndon B. Johnson faces the nation. I speak tonight for the dignity of man and the destiny of democracy, and we shall overcome. With those words, the president stood with the civil rights movement. 6 days later, they marched, Selma to Montgomery. Viola Liuzzo, a white mother from Detroit, was murdered by the Ku Klux Klan for helping. They reached the Capitol anyway. 25,000 stood together, black, white, united. August 6, 1965. President Johnson signs the Voting Rights Act. Voices once silenced now echo across ballots and chambers. From silence to speech, from exclusion to power, from Selma to justice.
The Civil Rights Movement in 1965 marked a year of both triumph and turmoil. The Selma marches and the tragedy of Bloody Sunday led to the passage of the Voting Rights Act, a major victory against systemic racism. However, the assassination of Malcolm X in February dealt a devastating blow, silencing a powerful voice for black self-determination and global human rights. His death, along with growing frustration over slow progress and continued violence, helped fuel the rise of the Black Power movement, which emphasized racial pride, self-defense, and a more militant approach to achieving equality. Together, these events signaled a shift in the movement, from peaceful protests to a broader, more forceful demand for justice and empowerment.
Wow. Did you all know that about 1965? What a critical year in civil rights history.
I'm so glad the National Civil Rights Museum reminds us that history is both struggles and triumphs, which is a great segue into what's next. Now, it's time for the Legacy Reimagined. Here, we'll have an important conversation with 34th Freedom Award honorees and learn about their civil and human rights leadership journey. It's a privilege to hear their perspectives on issues any one of us may face at one time or another, and opportunities that can sustain us and help us grow. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Mark H. Morial, Dr. Velma Lois Jones, and Mr. Mark Suzman.
Hello, distinguished honorees. The first Freedom Award honoree we will meet today is Mr. Mark Morial. Welcome, Mr. Morial.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Let's hear your story.
In every way, shape, and form, I am a New Orleanian, but I'm also someone that grew up in the vortex of change. Grew up in the cradle of the civil rights movement, born into a city which was segregated in the late 1950s, but born into a family that was in the forefront of civil rights change. My parents, they met 3 weeks after the decision of the Supreme Court in Brown versus Board. And my parents bonded over that, and their lifelong commitment, in addition to raising their family, was to promote social and economic change in New Orleans, in the South, and in the nation. So I grew up in that environment where my parents were on the front lines. My father was the NAACP branch president, and as well as working in the courts to dismantle segregation with AP Turo. My mother was an activist in her own right, a union activist, a teachers union activist. My father was involved in civil rights. He was the first African American to do literally everything he ever did. He was the first black to get elected to the state legislature since Reconstruction. First black trial court judge, family court judge, first black state appeals court judge before he became the first African American mayor. So by the time he became mayor, he had been the first black graduate of LSU Law School. He was the first black legislator. He was always pushing the envelope. You know, my father had incredible attributes, but my mother was the anchoring person. You know, we were brought up in an environment that encouraged this pride.
Mark Morial became National Urban League president and CEO in 2003. He looks back at how he started and where he is now.
Well, I came here to transform the National Urban League. Make no mistake about it. That's why I was hired. New strategy, completely new branding. Look, a brand new headquarters that we own. A legacy project here on 125th Street that is the type of project that no other civil rights organization, no historic African American organization has ever undertaken, to build a $250 million mixed-use real estate project in the heart of the most important black community, perhaps in the world, certainly in America.
What does it mean to get a Freedom Award?
So I'm absolutely humbled and honored to be recognized, and I will receive that award not just as Mark Morial, but as Mark Morial representing a generation of freedom fighters, civil rights leaders, equal opportunity advocates who work and live today to try to carry on that vision, that work, and that passion, and that fight for a better nation and a better world.
The National Civil Rights Museum proudly honors Mark Morial with the 34th Freedom Award.
And we're so happy to have you with us on today.
Thank you.
Everyone, Mr. Mark Morial.
Thank you. My time to talk? Is it really my time to talk? First of all, good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me first thank Russell Wigginton and the board of the museum for recognizing me and honoring me. I want to thank the staff and the team for its graciousness in welcoming me last night as we walked through the museum to see the stories being told with accuracy, with truth, and with power. And also a very special thanks to my colleague here in Memphis, Gail Carson, who leads the Memphis Urban League. I want to thank all of you. I want to talk, young folk, let me talk to you. Are y'all feeling energized or are you feeling bored? I'm going to ask all you young people, stand up right now. Stand up for 10 seconds. Stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be seated. I just have 3 things I want to talk, and if I can, address the young people today. And it is to offer 3 words, all that begin with the letter A. The first is the word aptitude. Aptitude. Say aptitude.
So aptitude is about you using your God-given ability to the fullest extent that your humanity allows you to. Everyone is born with ability and talent in some way, shape, or form. Can you find that talent deep down within you? And then can you commit to making it the best that you can be? We see great musicians. They stand up and perform before us. They make it look effortless, and it's beautiful. What we don't always realize is behind that, when years and hours of rehearsal and work and stumbling and fumbling and trying. But what they did is they never, ever gave up on developing their aptitude. We see great ball players. They fly through the air with the greatest of ease. If they're basketball players, they dunk. They go under their legs and behind their backs. We marvel in this great ability, but they started with God-given aptitude, and they worked and they developed that aptitude to the fullest extent. Young people, never cheat yourself by not identifying your aptitude and then developing your aptitude, because you can and will be great. The second A is attitude. So if you have aptitude and a funky attitude or a bad attitude, you will not go anywhere. So attitude is how we think about ourselves. Do we think about ourselves with pride and greatness? And attitude is how we interact and treat others, how we engage, how we speak, how we respond, how we respect. It's hard sometimes to hold a good attitude when life is tough, when things are hard. And it's hard to sometimes hold a good attitude if you are around people with a bad what? Attitude. So to be a vessel of a good attitude requires internal strength. That I'm not going to let bad attitudes become contagious. I'm going to be a good attitude that becomes contagious. So attitude with aptitude will get you to your goal. And the third word is agency. Say agency. Agency. Say agency.
Agency.
I want you to think about agency as whether you have the ability to sometimes step a little bit ahead of the crowd and be a leader. Sometimes step ahead of the pack and communicate, or by example, lead the way. In informal and formal ways. Hey, sometimes guess what? You got to study. You got to get prepared for a test. And sometimes you have that friend saying, hey, let's roll over here, let's roll over there. You can forget that study or you can do it later. Or sometimes you have friends that want to guide you into dangerous territory. Do you know what I mean? Agency means, can you step away? Can you be yourself? Can you lead the way? Can you lead by example? The civil rights champions who are recognized in the National Civil Rights Museum demonstrated in every respect people with aptitude who matched it with attitude, who demonstrated agency. They had to step out and take a risk. They had to have a positive attitude about change in difficult times of a segregated America, of threats of violence against them, threats of you will lose your job if you step out. What we can learn from them is that they had the courage to confront fear. that they had the courage to draw from their what? Number one, say it, my aptitude. Say my aptitude.
My aptitude.
And my attitude.
My attitude.
To demonstrate what? My agency. Say my agency.
My agency.
So we learn important lessons. Civil rights is not about nostalgia. Today, there's an assault on civil rights. We celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act. Yet yesterday, the United States Supreme Court, in an act of almost insult to the legacy of John Lewis and Lyndon Johnson, was in there discussing whether the Constitution of the United States rendered the Voting Rights Act unconstitutional. My. I don't want to get into a long discussion on that, except to say today, this work and these doors that have been opened by generations are now under threat. So more now than ever, it will require your aptitude and your attitude and your agency to continue this work and this fight. Young people and students, that is what it is all about. That is what it is all about. You can be great because you are great. You are great because God destined you to be great. You just bring your aptitude and your attitude and your agency, and we can all be great. Thank you for this award. Ability for Russell Youth and the team at the Civil Rights Museum. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Morial. Thank you for the words of encouragement that you gave everyone. It's important to remember to never give up, which is an important segue into who is our next honoree. Now, let's meet Freedom Award honoree, Dr. Velma Lois Jones. She's never given up.
We make it before we see it.
Welcome, Dr. Jones. We're so excited to have you with us. Let's hear your story.
I want to tell you first. I must say, I'm one of a kind. I was born in North Memphis. I stayed in North Memphis until I moved, actually, think about it, until I moved where I am right now.
Velma Lewis Jones grew up in segregated Memphis, where as a child, she learned two things at once: the beauty of community and the barriers that tried to contain it. She saw the brilliance in classrooms that lacked resources. She felt the heat of injustice in the everyday, but she withstood because of her loves, her community, her lifelong profession, and her family. She was an only child.
But I always had a lot of cousins, and my cousins were like my brothers and sisters. Many times we grew up in the same house or next door to each other, and most of the time in the same community, because that was what it was like being who we were and who we are.
She graduated from Manassas High School in 1948, received her Bachelor of Education degree from Lemoyne College in 1952, and she chose education, not simply as a profession, but as a platform, a front line for dignity. She taught, mentored, and led with the clarity that excellence is a right, not a privilege. She believed our children deserve teachers who were supported, schools that were strong, and futures that were open.
I've never really thought about it, other than living and making life better, not just for me, but all of those around me. And a love of people, we got to love each other. to learn to appreciate who we are, where we are, who they are, and everybody can make a contribution. I don't regardless at what level you are. Everybody can make the contribution, and everybody does. It may not be the one we want.
Teacher advocate, mentor, friend, thank you for proving that the heart of a community can also be its backbone. Thank you for showing us that education is the architecture of liberation, and that persistent, patient love is the strongest cornerstone. The National Civil Rights
Everyone, Dr. Velma Lois Jones. Dr. Jones, we are really honored to meet you. We will have questions for all of you guys, but right now we'll be moving into our final Freedom Award honoree.
The final Freedom Award honoree we'll meet today is Mr. Mark Sussman. Mr. Sussman, we've really been looking forward to meet you and to have you with us. Let's hear your story.
I'm a husband, a father, a leader of a foundation, but above all a human being like other human beings, just trying to do the best I can, both for my family, my community, but also really the world. I was born in Johannesburg, really at the absolute peak of what we now know as the apartheid era, at a time where we were just aware that it was in this very distorted society that was built on an edifice of designed, deliberate racial injustice.
His father is an academic, his mother is a sculptor, but the person who most influenced his career was his great-aunt Helen Sussman.
Helen was, for many years, the only member of the South African Parliament who was anti-apartheid. She was also the only woman, the only Jew, and she stood up for justice. And she was one of the very few people able to visit Mandela in jail. She exposed the ugly side of apartheid that the government was trying to cover up. And that was a huge influence on me.
What was Mandela's superpower that helped shape Mark Sussman's worldview and career?
I'm lucky enough that I got, several chances to meet and interact with him over the years after he was released from prison in 1990. He knew how to reach out, and that was his superpower, was to reach out, build bridges across multiple conflicting viewpoints. That period had huge violence going from the white right wing, far black left wing, lots of ethnic violence between different groups, and he really stood above and beyond all of that and reached out and stood on core principles that built bridges.
When you visit the Gates Foundation, you'll see its mission carved on the building. Every person deserves the chance to live a healthy and productive life.
That sounds simple, but when you stop and think about it, you realize so many people in the US and around the world simply do not have that. Where you live and where you're born often does determine if you live and what opportunities you have, and that's a world we want to change.
Mark Sussman is a scholar with a doctorate from Oxford and a summa cum laude graduate from Harvard. How does he feel about what's happening at Harvard?
Universities are places for debate, for protest, for discussion, as well as learning. With Harvard and other universities around the country at the moment, that clearly is under threat right now. And I certainly from my personal perspective and from the perspective of the Gates Foundation, where we support universities with funding, we think it's critical for a thriving society that you have higher education community that has the freedom and flexibility and opportunity to provide learning, to do the research, to provide the opportunities for students that has been the bedrock of U.S. success and dynamism for well over a century.
The National Civil Rights Museum proudly honors Mark Sussman with the 34th Freedom Award.
Welcome, Mr. Sussman. It's so exciting to meet you in person.
Now, let's get into the question portion. Let's take a few questions from the students in our audience. These students are extraordinary voices from our community, and they're ready to ask each of you some awesome questions. Let's go to our first audience question, and this one is for Mr. Mark Morial.
All right, good morning, Student Forum. My name is Carlos Watkins, and I'm a junior at the Memphis East High School. My question to you, Mr. Morial, is as an aspiring politician myself, how did growing up in New Orleans prepare you to be the city's youngest mayor and a public official who can best serve its citizens?
Thank you very much for the question, and good luck in your pursuits. I had the opportunity to work in political campaigns literally from the time I was 8 and 9 years old. Wow. Since my father was an NAACP lawyer and a civil rights attorney, I found myself at 4, 5, and 6 in his child care, following him to NAACP meetings, to church rallies at churches. I didn't really have a sense of where I was in those days. Later on, when he entered politics, it seemed like we were always campaigning for either him or somebody else. From the time I was 8 or 9 until the time really I ran for office myself. I think that exposure, so for young people who want to be involved in politics, I say involved in campaign. Get involved in campaign for somebody who believes. Volunteer, be involved at the grassroots level. It gave me a chance to knock on doors, to put up signs, to participate in organizing events, even if I was a guy just carrying the signs, carrying the boxes into the place. It was exposure, and the lesson is for the grown folk in the world, providing exposure to our young people, whether it's a political campaign, whether it's a law firm, whether it's a foundation, whether it's a medical office, whether it's a governmental office, for them to see at a very early age what people who work in a particular line of work do is so important. So, get involved in campaigning, the state, local, or national campaign for somebody you believe in.
Thank you, Mr. Morial.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you so much for the words of encouragement. It's important to get involved. Next, we have another question from the audience, and this one is for Mr. Mark Suzman.
Good morning, Mr. Suzman. My name is Christian Love, and I'm a junior at Lausanne Collegiate School. I just wanted to ask you, why is the work that you do with the Gates Foundation so necessary and important in our world today?
Yeah, well, thank you, and thank you to everyone for being here. And it's humbling to be with my fellow honorees and with all of you. And the key thing is what you just saw in that video, that phrase that is carved on our wall, that the belief that every person deserves the chance to a healthy and productive life. And again, just stop and think about that. At some level, that just feels, you go, of course that's true. Yet we live in a world where that is not true every single day. That I go, where you are born should not determine whether you live or die and what opportunities you have. Right now, today, there are kids all over the world dying of completely preventable diseases, not getting access to basic education, not getting access to the opportunities they need. And that is true here in the US as well. And so one of the reasons why at the foundation we try and make that then concrete. How do you turn that vision into action, into impact, into something that changes lives? And that is something that really, for everybody in the audience today, I would go, there is something concrete and tangible you can do, starting by learning in whatever topic it is, but then, the action can be the political action. It can be the action of teaching and engaging. It can be the action of working in healthcare. It can be the action of working to support farming. That's an area that we work in globally. But for all of that, the role of the foundation we see is that enabling partnerships for others, for communities, for leaders within communities, for students within communities,
to take action and drive progress forward towards that vision to make it real for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Susan. We have another audience question.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Pragna Rajashekar, a senior from White Station High School. Dr. Jones, why was your career as an educator so meaningful and empowering?
I am Melvin Morris Jones, but I'm having a problem up here, hearing, and it's an echo or something in here that I'm not hearing as well as I guess some of you, most of you can. But I'd like to ask you to repeat that question. I probably have an answer.
Why was your career as an educator so meaningful and empowering? Your career as an educator so meaningful and empowering. Meaningful.
That's a good question. It's because my children needed me, and I needed them. The world we live in is a world that needs of people who are educated, not just educated for themselves, but to be able to help somebody else. And the fact that your education is going to carry you much further than having not an education. And that word says, if you think ignorance is bad, try education. It's good. The life that we live, we need to know about our surroundings. We need to know about living with people. We need to be skilled in being something to help ourselves so that we don't have to always lean on somebody else. Education is the key to the lives that we touch in every occupation, in every situation. We need to be educated. Not in everything you can't be skilled, but that you can do. God has given you a gift to do something that's going to help somebody else. But you sometimes have to find out what that something is. And for some of us, we may never find out. But every person in us, and nobody has to come to us, right? But every person who breathes, God is so good. God has given us a gift. We have to find out what it is. Some of us are early on, some of us are going a long way. Sometimes it takes a long for us to learn. But if we are going to stop the lie in the world that we live in, we must realize that we are all put here, I heard it earlier, for service. We're all here to give back in whatever way we can. So we start educating ourselves. What do I have to give back for the space we occupy here on earth? And the only way you can do that is to do that for yourself, the guidance and the help that you are always surrounded with. But just find out what that is and do the best you can with whatever you got to do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. We have one final question for all three of our Freedom Award honorees. Mr. Morial, we'll start with you. Then we'll go to Dr. Jones, and then Mr. Susan.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah Jones, a senior at Middle College High School and a participant in the UCAN of Memphis program. What advice would you all give to young people who want to make a positive impact in their communities? And what can we do to make a difference?
That's a very good question. First of all, I want to congratulate you all because being here today means you're committed to making a difference. So we're going to give you all a round of applause, all young people, a warm round of applause, being today. I can't wait to hear the choir. When will we hear the choir? Okay, I want to hear that. Just very quickly, the most important thing about making a difference is about caring about others. Sometimes people trash the word compassion. They trash the word empathy. Compassion and empathy are some of the two most important human qualities. It means that as important as you think you are, that the next person is as important as you. In caring and showing compassion in your everyday life with your friends and family members, even when they get on your last nerve, is a very important way to give back. Then, pick one project. Pick one project. It may be something through the school, it may be something through the church, it may be something through the neighborhood. Pick one project and get really involved to make a difference. If you may pick a project and say, I'm going to do this for a year, and then a year later, I'm going to pick another project. It could be a range of things. One of the things you all have the power to do, you're all high schoolers, right? Who's in 12th grade? Raise your hand. They say hi, 12th graders. All right, you graduate 10th, 11th graders, 10th graders, 9th graders, and the 8th graders in here. That's 8th graders. Let me say this about those of you, particularly if you're 11th and 12th grade. You can give back by talking to the 8th graders. You can give back by talking to the 9th graders. You can give back because when you go to college, and every 12th grade, y'all go to college, right? Say, I am.
I am.
All of you who go to college, I want you to never forget to go back to your high school, your middle school, your junior high. You don't have to go for a long time. 1 hour, 2 hours. Go back, talk to some young people. Be encouraged on their journey. Sometimes giving back is not that hard. It's sometimes so easy to do, and it's really rewarding. But it begins with caring about others, and it begins with compassion for others. So if you keep that in mind, you'll always be a servant of people. So back to the question.
So Dr. Jones, the question was, what advice would you give to young people who want to make a positive impact in their communities, and what can we do to make a difference? So what advice would you give young people who want to make a positive impact in their communities, and what can we do to make a difference? So,
It all starts in your head. You've got to want to do something. Think about it. And nobody can think for you. And when they start thinking for you, you're not thinking for yourself. You listen and learn first as much as you can about what it is that you have an interest in. And you want to have an interest in that, what we call service. What can I do to make things better where I stand? Not where somebody else is standing. There's always enough to be
two fellow honorees, which is you start with people. I think sometimes what gets intimidating is you think of, here we are being honored by the National Civil Rights Museum, and you think of Dr. King. Or you look at my video and you think of someone like Nelson Mandela, and you go, how can I possibly be? Those are giants. And they are giants. They were giants. They have intuition, but they were giants who started by seeing other people, as individuals, as connecting with individuals, connecting with empathy, connecting with compassion, connecting with that human dignity. And it is that linkage that is what can drive change, that all of you need to get involved in some way, shape, or form. There's a great South African concept that some of you may have heard of that Mandela used to talk about called Ubuntu, which is the notion that a person is a person through other people. Your humanity comes from engaging. That's engaging through education and learning, whether it's with a baby, whether it's with a high schooler, whether it's an adult, whether it's in your family, whether it's in your community, whether it's more broadly. You are all engaged citizens. You have a community that you are proud to be part of. You can make a difference at every level, in your family, in your community, in your country. At this time, as much as any time, as you just heard from Dr. Moran, we need that engagement. So, the thing is, don't feel powerless. Don't feel intimidated. Feel curious. Feel compassionate. Feel caring. And take action.
Thank you all so much. Today's conversations remind us, like Dr. Jones said, how much we gain when we listen, learn, and lead with purpose. Thank you for guiding us. It's an honor to meet you.
Thanks to the two of you.
Praise belongs to God. Here we go.
Every praise is to our God. Every word of worship. With one accord. Every praise. Every praise is to our God. Come on, everybody, sing hallelujah to our God. Glory, hallelujah is to our God. Come on, say every praise. Say every praise is to our God. Y'all know how we do it. Take it up and praise. It's to our God. Every word of worship. With one accord. Come on, say every praise. Every praise is to our God. I want everybody all over the world to sing hallelujah to our God. Glory, hallelujah is to our God. Every praise is to our God. Let's take it up one more time. Every praise. Come on, everybody. Every word of worship with one accord.
Let's give our Freedom Award honorees another round of applause. Now, get ready for a phenomenal performance by the Cordova High School Mighty Men's Chorale, directed by Adrian Macklin.
There's an old man called the Mississippi. There's an old man that I want to be. What does he care if the world's got troubles? What does he care if the man ain't free? Oh, man river, that old man river, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling. He keeps on rolling along. He don't plant taters, he don't plant cotton, and him that plants him is soon forgotten. Oh, man river, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge, lift that bell, you get a little drunk and you land in jail. Oh, man river, that old man river, he must know something, but don't say nothing. That Harmon River, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tote that horse, lift that bell, you get a little drunk and you land in jail. Oh, man river, that old man river, he must know something, but don't say nothing. That old man river, he just keeps rolling. That old man river, he just keeps rolling. Yes, old man river, he just keeps rolling along. Just keeps rolling along.
Let's have another huge round of applause for the Cordova High School Mighty Men's Chorale. That was absolutely phenomenal.
Now please welcome Dr. Wigington.
Great job, everyone. Making a difference begins with seeing a need and deciding to take positive action. It's something any of us can do. That's the foundation of the Keeper of the Dream Award. We've received several nominations from remarkable young students vying to be chosen as Keepers of the Dream. It is inspiring to see how our youth are stepping up and using creativity, compassion, and courage to make their communities stronger. At the National Civil Rights Museum, we are proud of each and every one of them. Before we meet this year's honorees, I want to recognize the parents, teachers, and community leaders who have supported and encouraged these students. Your guidance makes all the difference. To all of our nominees, thank you for your leadership, your commitment, and your service. You are shining examples of what it means to be engaged citizens, and we are learning from you. Now, let's meet our 2025 Keeper of the Dream honorees.
I'm Christian Love.
I'm Pragna Rajashekar.
I'm Carlos Watkins, and we are the 2025 Keeper of the Dream Award winners.
My initiative is named the Caring Hands of Tennessee. Our project works to bridge the inequalities in healthcare and educational opportunities. Growing up, I saw many students that did not have the same educational opportunities as me. So I worked to bridge this gap by setting up tutoring opportunities and many other opportunities to get kids the same opportunities I had. My advice would be to get started. If you see a problem in our community that you are passionate about, no matter how big or small your initiative is, just get started. I'm very honored to receive the Keeper of the Dream Award. And to me, this award is kind of like uplifting the legacy that the others before us have established.
The museum represents remembrance. Knowing where we come from and being able to come back to a place where there's so much history, we can learn and we can keep it going for generations and generations to come. The name of my initiative was Operation Purple House. I served as the executive director and operations manager. My initiative directly addresses the narrative that youth are lazy and that we don't want to do anything for ourselves. But understand, we are the leaders of today and tomorrow, and we will achieve what we set out to achieve. My advice to you is if you're thinking about it, do it. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals who want to achieve the same goals that you want to achieve.
My initiative is called Opportunity Bridge 901. My initiative closes the gap when it comes to equity within opportunity access, when it comes to summer programs, initiatives, and extracurricular opportunities. I noticed that in a lot of youth leadership spaces, the same faces kept showing up. Not because other students weren't qualified to be in those spaces, but because they simply did not have access to the information they needed to access these opportunities. It feels very surreal to me. In 2018, I was able to attend the Freedom Awards Student Forum, and I was so honored to meet Reverend Jesse Jackson. And I saw the Keeper of the Dream honorees then and the Freedom Award honorees then, and I was like, one day I'm going to be like them and create meaningful change in my community. And now, here I am. I would say if you have an idea, even if it's a small idea, even if you're not sure if you're old enough or the right person to act on this idea, act on it, because you never know whether your idea could create meaningful change in our community. And through action, we can all continue to keep the dream that Martin Luther King bestowed upon us alive. To me, the National Civil Rights Museum represents celebrating history, teaching history, and making sure history does not go untold. Because when history is not continually taught and reinforced, we have the potential of repeating the same problems that happened in the past.
Thank you guys so much. We're proud that each year at the Student Forum, outstanding young people are honored with the Keeper of the Dream Award. As you can see, they've done amazing things, and I'm proud to be one of those people as a 2024 Keeper of the Dream honoree. Now, let's meet our first 2025 Keeper of the Dream honoree, Christian Love. Christian Love is a junior at Los Angeles Collegiate School and founded Opportunity Bridge 901, a youth-led digital platform connecting high school students across the Mid-South to leadership programs, summer institutes, workshops, and college prep opportunities. A fellow with Bridges Youth Action Center for Social Change, Christian noticed inequities in access to enrichment resources and decided to bridge that gap. His project levels the playing field for young people, creating equitable access to leadership and academic opportunities, regardless of background. Let's celebrate Christian Love.
Let's meet our second Keeper of the Dream honoree, Pragna Rajashekar. A senior at White Station High School, founded the Caring Hands of Tennessee, a student-led organization that expands healthcare access in rural areas. Through creative fundraising and community partnerships, she mobilized volunteers, raised funds for underserved clinics, and launched an international student newspaper that amplifies youth voices. Pragna's advocacy extends to addressing gun violence and promoting civic engagement, demonstrating a deep commitment to both local and global social change. Let's celebrate Pragna Rajashekar.
Okay, let's meet our third and final Keeper of the Dream honoree, Carlos Watkins. Carlos Watkins is a junior at Mississippi High School, a Delta State officer, and the founder of Operation Purple House, a project transforming community spaces into hubs, Let's give a round of applause once again for all of our 2025 People winners. They are truly awesome and legacies of Dr. King. Congratulations again to the 2025 Keeper of the Dream winners. To our live audience and the people watching online, we are glad that you had a great time with us today. We hope to see you next year. And as always, make sure you visit the National Civil Rights Museum. Thank you.
Right foot, left foot, then turn with it. Right foot, left foot, then turn with it.